What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes. Let everybody know that I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I am very, very grateful right off the hop to say, right. I'm very grateful for the job that I have that actually puts the roof over my head. And not because it puts the roof over my head, but in this process of expanding and learning and discovering and experiencing, and I was going to say experimenting, but I'm going to say that too because it's a lot of experimenting. It's a lot of trying things out, seeing if they fit, if they feel right, right? If they feel like me, they feel like something that I can move forward with, or if it's just something temporary in the moment to help me overcome, right? A situation or, right? A moment that I'm having. Very grateful for this job, this little job that I have in a thrift store where I've built regulars and friends up over the years. And yes, there are different levels of friendship. They're right 100%, and we've all experienced those different levels. But when you're not somebody who is tight with a lot of people, these small interactions, these conversations, these people that you can share your experiences, maybe a little bit of part of your life, right? To give you an opportunity to be seen and to be heard, but at the same time, giving these people that you're having these small interactions with an opportunity to be seen and to be heard. We have no idea what's going on for the most part in people's lives. You could be easily surprised by a regular, for me especially, to have realizations of the struggles that some of my customers have, and yet they come in and they're so cheerful, right? And having those experiences in our store and with us, like, you would never think that they were having struggles at home. But we live in a world now, right? Everybody is vulnerable. Yes, right? I work in a little thrift store, and for the norm, thrift stores are for the vulnerable, right? Right? Or if you're creative too, because I used to use thrift stores when I wasn't in need of it, just for the creativity of it, for the vintage clothing and the antiques, and right, just to have an experience of somebody's memory, or what somebody would give away. I'm constantly being surprised by the beautiful, useful things that people are so kind to bring to us, when easily, they could go onto Marketplace, or, Kijiji, or right, their local swap, and make some money in it in themselves. And yet, right, they give us that consideration, whether it's in their wills, their gifts, or changing over their closet in the seasons. Right now, we've got a big clothing sale. We've been busy every day. It was a great idea for a sale this week because we do have a lot of stock. Why? Because people are changing out their closets, right? Like I did, changing out the winter closet to the summer closet, right? No, sorry, the summer closet into the winter closet. And then getting all those donations together. Oh my goodness, I carried two big, heavy bags to work. My hands were just red and indented by the handles by the time I got to work, but I was very happy that they were out of my house. I got two more bags, and right, we're done for a little bit with the donations. Okay, so let's get back on track. So this week, right? And we'll also make note, obviously, I don't have my laptop back yet. He said possibly I could have it back tonight. That's why we're so late tonight, because I would have liked to have gone live on my laptop, right? Right? I like that horizontal, that vertical. That's it confuses me a little bit because that's how my lives were on Instagram. And for those of you who are just popping in to gain my lives now for the first time, this this show that I have, What's My Good Cheer, is one of two live shows that I do on this channel here. But What's My Good Cheer was actually a show that I brought over from Instagram. We've had a difficult past few years, and I came up with this idea for What's My Good Cheer during that time, and it helped to move me forward. It helped to expand. It helped me to stay connected, because socially it's very important for us to stay connected with each other, right? you know I couldn't imagine, right, having the experience that I'm having, right? And even though it's interesting, I think it would be very, very confusing and possibly a little bit scary if I didn't realize that there were other people out there having similar experiences, but their own experience, right? So, getting back on the topic this week, and for those of you who don't know, we've been picking a word each week, and we've been delving on topic, that one word for the whole week. This week is our ninth or 10th word. I've got it written down. It's our, I guess I should be specific, right? So I should know exactly um, what number we're on, and we are on number 10. So it's been 10 weeks now since we started this. So we're on the word believe, and so it's different perspectives, different ideas, different, it's the same subject, but looking at that subject in a different way. Today I wanted to look at that word believe in a problem that I've had in my own limiting beliefs, in my program, one of these things that I truly had to overcome. And not to say that I fully have overcome this, because when you struggle with things, there's always that uncertainty that possibly, right, these are things that might be stuck with us for our entire lives. But I'm hoping and I'm optimistic that I can be the evidence that if you truly, and right, I'm 62 years old, it doesn't matter how late you come into this story, right? This experience. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far behind you are, because depending on your level of desire, your level of hunger, right? For me, this has been totally eye opening in the way that, it answered a lot of questions that I had my entire life. And, I have no idea why I was graced with the idea, right, that we were going to work in emotions and that was going to be part of my give back. But I'm certainly grateful, right, that it worked out that way. And I'm not going to question it, right? I'm just going to believe that there's a reason the way it all played out, the way it played out. Okay, so we're going to talk about a little bit of codependency, because one of my big problems in my movement, and a lot of my lessons in different aspects of my limiting beliefs have touched on this very subject, because this has been a very big obstacle for me in my movement forward. For those of you again who've been with me for any length of time, I'm very highly sensitive, and I have these very hyper vigilant empathic tendencies, part of the programming. Lots of us have these tendencies, right? And they offer up amazing things after the fact. And because we've earned the right to use those tools, I used them to the best of my ability, not realizing right up until recently that they were actually gifts. But one of my biggest problems was that I always spent so much of my time, so much of my life trying to get other people to believe in me. Right? We're talking handstands and cartwheels and let me do that. And we talked a little bit about this week about how sometimes we can stumble over ourselves because, again, maybe we don't want to do this journey by ourselves, right? Maybe we don't want to be alone. Maybe we want to be included, right? Maybe our whole lives we've never been seen, we've never been heard. And this was a part of me because, right, nobody was interested in what I had to say or what I could contribute, if anything. And I didn't even realize I had anything to contribute my whole life. I just thought I was ah an afterthought, possibly, something that was just ta- excuse me, tagging along. And oh, hello, Melvin. Wow, isn't that a short little comment? Let me see, that can't possibly be your hello to me today, Melvin. Right? I know. Maybe it was because I came in so late tonight, and I don't mean to come in late. It's a little bit of adapt and conquer in this little bit of obstacle situation that I've gotten myself in. All I can do is ride the waves. I'm showing up fresh like a loaf of bread, holding myself accountable, right? Grounding in my job. And when I go back to work, I truly do ground in my job. I practice my craft in my relationships and in those conversations and interactions with my customers, right? Beautiful, love it, right? That little drummer girl, when you don't realize what you have to offer or what you can give, you do the best that you can, right? And it is in my interactions with my customers 100%, but it's the same way around. It's a mutual thing. I get just as much out of those conversations because it helps to ground me. Otherwise, right, I would just float away like I was holding on a big bouquet of helium balloons, and I would just be whoo, I would be gone because I do spend a lot of time in my head. I do spend a lot of time in contemplation. I spend a lot of time in the lessons. But to get back on topic here, pull it right back, Cindy, in this idea of codependency. And, that idea that, right, nobody could see me, right? Or they did see me, but, they didn't see me. They were ignoring me, right? And we stumble over ourselves sometimes to be noticed, to be appreciated. And I did that in every single job, every single opportunity to build on a relationship in any aspect of my life, whether it was a work relationship, family relationship, with strangers, right? With opportunities. But I would always, you know, put that energy into getting people to see me, to get people to hear me. And I would also do it by, sometimes compliments are beautiful, and I would be overly in the compliments. And I believe in compliments, um, because I realize how you can make somebody's day, but they have to be genuine and they have to be honest, right? And they can't be something that you butter over, because people can recognize that phony baloney. They can recognize when you're just doing the schmoo. It has to be genuine. And I would find that quite often I would connect with people by serving them, by over complimenting, by, ooh, let me take that for you. Oh, can I help you with that? Or can I do that for you? Right? And what was I doing for myself? Because all that energy, right, that quite possibly should have or could have gone into taking care of myself, taking care of myself like I was somebody in need, because I was somebody in need, right? And what I thought was that people believe in me, right? That people could see what I had to contribute. People could see that I was a good person or a nice person or a funny person or a smart person or whatever it was that I could, right? Make that connection and somebody might think well of me, right? And again, that's that idea of wanting to belong, or maybe at the very least, not wanting to be on the outskirts, being the last one picked. You know, I wasn't always the last one picked, but it took a while to adjust and to get into those groups where you could, right, build yourself up to be, right, the one that says, hey, let's go camping, or let's do this, or what are you guys doing, and right, start getting people motivated and excited about opportunities, right, to do things as friends. I right, I should have been an event planner. I did a little bit when I was doing weddings, but see how I'm getting off track today. I am tired. I put a lot of energy into my job today, but that's not an excuse, because I am accountable to show up fresh like a loaf of bread every single day. And even though I'm here, that lesson has to be relevant. And this is a very, very important word: believe. And it's something I never had for myself because I was so busy, right? Trying to show people that I believed in them, that they could do it. Let me help you. Let me get that. Let me do that for you. How can I help? Right? And then at the same time, not giving anything to myself, not believing in myself, right? Not rewarding myself, not recognize. Maybe I recognize my contribution, and that's maybe why I tried so hard to get other people to recognize my contribution, because it's really hard, right? When you go out of your way to do kind things or to do the right thing or to go above and beyond, and it's not even recognized, not even noticed, right? Like this week, the store was so dark. Half our light bulbs were all burnt out. Those big long fluorescents, and I got up on a ladder. It took me 2 days in between my customers and the other projects I had to do, but I got every single fluorescent in that building changed over. It was just so bright, right? And nobody noticed. And I kind of, right, did really nobody notice how bright it was in the store? Maybe it's possible, because it was really a big difference once I had the bulbs changed. But sure enough, nobody, nobody, nobody noticed the bulbs were out. Nobody noticed that the bulbs were replaced. And sometimes with us, right, that's the way it goes with us. And there's a little bit of a tinge, and it's a disappointment, because none of us want to be not seen, not heard. Oh, Nancy's here. Oh, Dave. Oh my goodness, Dave's here too. Holy moly. Yeah, Dave. Oh, Melvin. Okay. Well, it was something that we had that conversation last night, and it made an imprint on me, Nancy. How you've always believed in yourself, right? Every time you knock down, right? How you pop up like a jack in a box. And I thought about it, and through some of the lessons that I got today, this morning, I always try to take my lessons in the morning. That might change. I might have to bring this show because I need to have it consistently at the same time. I don't want people to miss my shows and stuff. I want everybody to know what time I'll be going live, right? Just like my other show, Chatters Live. I want to make sure that, right, there's this consistent time. But we're filling it out right now. A little bit of adapt and conquer. Still don't have my laptop, right? But it's in the happenings. I am working at it. But wow, David, so wonderful to see you here. But yeah, you're right. Just to start putting that belief in myself. And in these past few years, it has been a process for me. I didn't realize that I was so lacking in that word belief, even though I had confidence in myself, right? I know my capabilities, but it didn't stop me from being lacking in my beliefs. And part of that was, well, I would have to say the majority of that was my codependent traits, where I was always stumbling over myself, right? To take care of my sisters, be the good, to be the good daughter, to be the awesome employee, right? Make myself so exhausted and so depleted for others that there wasn't anything left for me. I was so depleted that the subject of belief wouldn't even have come to the surface. Because all that would have come to the surface is, oh, I'm so exhausted, right? Maybe not. There are days where I do poop myself out 100%, but I am a little bit of an energy bunny. But I do believe there was a reason I was made that way, right? And so I just continue just to, right, adapt and conquer, stay on the subjects, recognize when I'm falling into those codependent traits, right? It is tough. It surfaces all the time. Even um this week I noticed that I did something. I complimented somebody, and it just made their day, right? And it was an honest and a genuine compliment, but it made me get to thinking about the compliments that I do give out. Lots of it is in mindset building. I use it a lot with the kids when they come in with their parents, and they use their please and thank yous with me, you know, or they use the please and thank yous with other people, right? When they do something that that shows the possibility of somebody growing up to have, right, a kind heart or a generous attitude, that I make a big deal out of it, right? I make it a conversation, and the pride that comes up in these children, and when they leave, that they're thinking about this and they go, oh my goodness, that lady was so happy when I told her to have a nice evening, or when I said thank you very much. She was so happy, she made a big deal about it. That they'll go off and use, right, these manners on a more consistent base. But on the same point is the parents too get to feel that pride, because they're the caregivers. Those children learn their manners somewheres, and you have to give credit where credit is due. And sometimes, again, because we don't get seen and we don't get heard, we do these things for people, right? We put that extra effort in, that extra mentoring, and then that extra guidance. But if it's not recognized, right? If it's not recognized, right? Maybe we'll not have that tendency to overextend ourselves that way, and then these children that are going to be running this world, right? That are going to be right? Taking care of us when we're in the seniors homes, that right, they might not want to because they didn't get that encouragement that they were right, that they were good, that they were good human beings. And we could do that creatively in all different kinds of ways, but that confidence building is very, very, very important for the little kids. It's very important for the children to be seen and to be heard. You know, my father was big on conversations with all his kids, right? I can't imagine some of these deep conversations he had with his kids. And right, and you look at it from a child's perspective, and I'm going, oh my goodness, we must have driven our parents absolutely bonkos, right? But what we would do is go for Sunday drives, and he would get us trapped in the car, right? It's not like you're gonna jump out of a moving car, right? And we'd be able to have these conversations where he could do a little bit of course correction, right? Maybe it's a little bit of band-aid work, considering whatever happened during the week, whether it was something going on at home, or if there was something going on at school, right? Or with the neighborhood kids. But, you know, I looked at myself today, the subject arose, and I says, I have to, right? I have to tie that in because, you know, as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, right? And maybe slowly it tinkered in through the experience, and right, you move up the rank in a job, right? Start in as a bus person, then you're a hostess, then you're a cashier, then you're a waitress, then you're a shift supervisor, right? Then you're assistant manager, and then you're manager, right? It's always moving up, and you're only moving up because of the experience that you build up in that process. So, you know, over time, right, that confidence in myself, that sureness in myself, that got built up. But this idea that I could believe that anybody was interested in what I had to say, right? Unless I was giving directions, right? Do this, do this, do this, right? Nobody had a choice in that point. But actually, for somebody to want and sit and have a conversation, or to go for a walk, or go for an adventure, or go for a drive, to have the same kind of mentality, right? That's why I do a lot of my adventuring by myself, because I'm a unique, right? I would much rather entertain myself than to go off with people and feel like I have to entertain them, because if I have to entertain somebody, I'm going to again sacrifice myself, because I would believe that they're with me, they're my responsibility. I have to make sure that they're having a good time. Let me stand on my head. Let me do some flips, right? What can I do? And, right? And as highly sensitives, as empaths, as codependents, right? We do stumble over ourselves, and we put so much energy into believing in other people, that other people are better than us, that other people are smarter than us, other people are more beautiful, or whatever it is, that we believe that one wholeheartedly, and it just becomes so the norm that one day, 57 years old, you wake up and you go, oh my goodness, I didn't believe in myself. I spent so much time in convincing people who couldn't even give me the time of day, right? Forcing myself down them, right? Handstands, flips. Look at me. Gets to the point that I go, oh my goodness, well, we'll keep ignoring her, right? Because she'll keep doing those flips. She'll keep taking those loads, right? Oh, let me get that for you. Let me do that for you. Oh, you look beautiful today. And not having any of that reciprocated, right? Got some of big messages in this this time that I'm having right now of not having my laptop, right? It is a little bit disconcerting, right? Right? Like I'm worried. Right? This is my brand. I have standards for my brand, and yet I'm finding I'm adapting and conquering, and I could be proud of myself and say, "Hey, Cindy, you're showing up." Right? You're showing up. That's all that matters. You're keeping your word. But this is important. What I'm doing here, this is important. Mostly it's important for me because this is my movement, but I'm sharing my movement. And this important word that I believe is so important, this word believe, because if I didn't believe in any of this, like none of this would be happening, right? Because I have to believe what I'm experiencing at the very least. This is my story, right? And I see what's coming into my life. I see the 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 expansion there, and I have those questions, and then I'm having these questions answered for myself. And then when I have these experiences, right? I'm coming here, and all I am doing is just sharing it, right? Because I'm coming to realize that each one of us is different. Each one of us is unique, and you can't force anything down anybody's throat. Somebody's got to be willing, somebody's got to be open, somebody's got to be curious, somebody's got to be maybe at their wits' end, somebody has got to be scared, right? And that's all of that was going on at one point for me. And then to be able, as fast as those feelings come in, to have thoughts pop in at the same time going, well, that's probably because of this, and if you look at this, it was probably about that, and doesn't that explain this, and oh, right? And then you start to think about things and you go, oh my goodness, I had it all wrong, right? I had it all wrong. But is it too late? Right? I wouldn't be getting these ideas. I wouldn't be getting these understandings. I wouldn't be getting these clues, these serendipities, these breadcrumbs if there wasn't any reason for it, right? It would have been easier just to keep me, right? Totally clueless. So I believe there's a reason for all of this. What this is, I don't know, but I will continue to ride those waves, right? I will continue to show up fresh like a loaf of bread. I will continue to work on these limitations that I have, like the one, right, that I was putting all that energy into believing in others and not giving myself that same consideration, right? That I can trust and I can believe in myself. I have to. I mean, I do, right? I come back in to my lives. When I do these lives, I come back in and I take them as a lesson for myself, right? And I wouldn't do that unless I believed there was a lesson there for me, right? And I know there's a lesson there for me and what it is. And if I explained it in a way that I might be able to make sense of it. But the bonus is if I was able to explain it in a way that somebody else made sense of it. That would be absolutely amazing because, even though I'm showing up fresh like a loaf of bread, just sharing my experience because of the world we live in, because of the experiences we're all having together. I think a lot of these I call them lessons. I don't know what else to call them. I call them lessons. Right? But they could be conversations, they can be experiences, they could be adventures, they could be just waking up to that idea. It could be asking a question and watching it. It comes in so many different ways, right? So we have one more day to talk about belief. And, it was a little bit of a conglomerate of mishmash of circumstances. Some of them unfortunate, right? But it doesn't mean we can't come back to it because a lot of these words that we do pick, they rub against other words. And I have a whole pile of words that we're going to go through. It won't be the last of hearing believe because, it's big in the networks that I float around in. And it's something that I need in order to remind myself that I matter. And it's also to trigger me when I recognize, right, that I'm overcompensating, that I'm over appreciating, I'm over complimenting, I'm over serving, right, with an empty cup, right, with an empty cup. And sometimes we have no choice. Sometimes we get thrown into that mix. But I think I can do a better job. And like I said, right, this is quarter after 10 right now, right? 90% of my audience is gone to bed now. But that's okay because, right, this live will be here in the morning. And if you pick it up, absolutely amazing. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day. And then maybe if you can look at this word, believe, in your life and see how it plays out where it comes to your own courage, your own confidence in yourself, right? How you pick yourself up when you've fallen down, right? Maybe you don't pick yourself up. Maybe you just pivot right away. I did that for the longest time, right? Hit a wall. Okay, pivot, turn around. Instead of working at that wall and seeing if you could chip away and make some movement more, I would just like, okay, that's it, on to something else. And I have no idea, right, how many different experiences I've had in my life because I've just, right, I had so many because of that span that I only allowed it to have. Very grateful for the ones that I've been able to keep for a great length of time, like my passion for Mother Nature and these past few years, right? Right? All these lessons, they're adding up to something. I don't know what, but I do believe that they wouldn't have come to the surface unless they were greatly needed in the moment, right? That me showing up here makes a difference, and um, and it's genuine in a way because I'm doing this for myself. I'm not stumbling over myself to get anybody else to believe in what I believe because a perspective is a perspective, and each one of us has that right to choose our own perspectives, to believe in what we believe in, right? But we do have to be willing because we can't all have it right, right? And I would have to guess that a big portion of what I thought was correct really wasn't, right? And I'll probably discover more things along the way because this is a lifetime process, 100%, but you do it in baby steps, right? You do it in baby steps, and it doesn't seem so bad. And then, just showing up and you actually have these conversations, maybe you'll meet people like my friend Nancy. My friend Nancy, who's just been so awesome on these subjects, these words that I've been bringing up. Here's another one from Nancy. I am still learning that, and it almost may do something I would later regret. Okay, I got it. I was going to take down my layout because I began to worry about people not wanting to see my layout anymore. Are you kidding me? Halloween? And there's no Nancy and her trains? What got into you on that one, Nancy? What discouraged you on that? Yeah, I'd be interested to know what discouraged you. Love working on your trains. And it's the one of a few times a year that you really like to go all out. You got your Halloween one. And if you let this one pass, oh my goodness, the big one, the Christmas one, Nancy, that you have to start to get to work on as soon as Halloween's over. Yeah, I saw your pictures, Nancy, of your layout. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know why you would think that you should take it down. Right? For you to enjoy, right? You do it for yourself, right? And then everything else is, right? The little bit of bonus, that froth coming over your cup, and we're going to get to enjoy it on Halloween because I'm going to be there, Nancy, 100%. Dave, thank you so much for coming in. Oh my goodness. Okay, Nancy. Cindy, when I was really sick a couple of years ago and fighting for my life, I was led to believe I was not going to survive. But because I believed differently, I'm here today. I remember that, Nancy. Oh my goodness, when Nancy got her staph infection, right? A couple of my viewers got staph infections and almost died. It's just incredible and fast. Yeah, Nancy, I remember that. And that was right in the beginning of the COVID. And remember how scared you were, right? That you might get sick because the whole hospital was full of people who had COVID. And also you had a hard time even getting in because you had to go into the hospital in order to get your vaccinations. I remember that, Nancy. Nancy still has seizures, but now I know I believe in myself and I believe I can conquer those seizures. That's absolutely amazing. Affirmations, just believing in that, Nancy, will keep the seizures at bay. 100%. It's why I have good health because I keep my affirmations. Every day I remind myself of how great my health is, right? But then every once in a while I mention my Charlie horses and then I have a Charlie horse. But I'm drinking my fluids, you guys. I'm drinking my fluids. It's because I'm dehydrated. I don't drink enough water. I don't drink much water at all. But at least you got some of those seizures under control. That's amazing. Nancy, would you like to go live with me tomorrow? Will you be available tomorrow sometime? I won't be home from work till 8:30 at night, but we can maybe do a live show tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Uh, this this allows me to bring people in live, Nancy, and I could request, and me and you could go live on YouTube. Me and you have never gone live on YouTube. Wouldn't that be a nice way to end this conversation of belief? Oh my goodness. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Nancy. Did you really, Nancy? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you don't tick Nancy off. You don't mess with her life and don't mess with the life of the people that she cares about because she'll be all over you 100% like a squirrel monkey. Yeah, who needs legs, eh, Nancy? You just crawl right up with your arms. Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Did you really do that? I love Google. I really do. I've never had a problem with Google, but I can imagine how frustrating it would be. I know you have lots of problems with the trains, but I'm not sure if that's a Google problem because the kids are going to, right, look for and interact with the things that they love, and they do love the trains, but I don't know what the problem is with your trains. Um, because it is family oriented and you don't swear on your channel, Nancy, so I'm not sure why, yeah, YouTube would have a problem, but yeah, I don't know. um oh, it's still up. Oh, that's so funny. Huh. Oh, yeah, your videos, your train videos, I would have just left them up. Right? Maybe you couldn't have been monetized, but people would have at least been able to see your videos. 100%, Nancy. Yeah, Halloween night, and I will share. I'll send everybody over on Halloween night. Yeah, I remember that, Nancy, when you went into the hospital. That was scary. I remember how scared you were. And it's not that Nancy doesn't get scared, right? But it's that resilience. And she knows that if she doesn't take care of herself, who's going to take care of her? Right? It's that same idea of believe. Nancy has to believe in herself, right? Because if she doesn't believe in herself, well, she might not have a roof over her head, right? Right? She wouldn't have her wheelchair. She wouldn't have her needs met. And at the very least, each one of us have to have our needs met. I wrote them down, those specific needs that as human beings we all need. Uh, Maybe tomorrow. I'm tired now. I'm tired, but I did want to show up here and hopefully tomorrow they were going to fine you. Oh my goodness. Really? Aw, I didn't know that. Yeah, I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with Google. They have treated me, and YouTube have treated me so well. Yeah, but I'm sorry that you had such a difficult experience. But yeah, you stick up for yourself, Nancy, and each one of us. I had this conversation with one of my customers. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. And I said I never deny anybody their right to stick up for their rights or do what's right, as long as you're not physically or emotionally damaging somebody. Sometimes circumstances happen, and right, we unintentionally hurt people or leave them hanging, but it's the intent, right? It's the intent. Oh, you're right, Nancy. And I've got it locked as I don't let the kids. The kids aren't allowed into my channel. But you're right. Yeah, because of the trains. I get it. That's a good suggestion that Dave said that maybe you could just. But Nancy has done the other platforms. But yeah, that's too bad about. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the layout. I saw the pictures. I saw the pictures that you sent me. So you have been working on it, but don't get discouraged. You love your train sets. And soon as you're done Halloween, oh my goodness, you're gonna do tear down, right? And it's Christmas time. And it's Christmas time. Oh, Rumble. I've never been on Rumble. What's Rumble like? Like Twitter, or is it like Instagram, or is it like TikTok? Yeah, never even heard of Rumble before. The only Rumble I heard was Royal Rumble with the wrestlers. Yeah. Aww. So you deleted all your videos. You just didn't put them unlisted. You actually deleted them, Nancy? Yeah, that's yeah. I've deleted videos. I deleted one video because it turned out the property was not abandoned. It was actually leased out to a farmer for the fields. So I deleted that one. Um, and oh, a whole bunch of my lives, because once the lives are go get really old, and if they're not um, very impactful, then I'll take them down. My posts with my landscapes, I leave usually all of those up. But you guys, it's time for me to have something to eat, get my pajamas on, right? Call it a night. It's been a good, long, productive day. I've been at it since 7 o'clock this morning. So I'm gonna give myself an hour, taking some lessons, enjoy my cold cup of coffee. Oh my goodness, I forgot I had this cup of coffee. It's probably cold now, but it doesn't matter. You guys, it wasn't very heavy. I really wanted to get technical and really get to the point when it came to codependency, right? But this idea of taking care of others before we're taking care of ourselves. I don't know how we got that kinked idea in our head that we believed that we were responsible, that everybody else around us should be comfortable and happy before we are, right? We can't be anything for anybody else unless we can be that for ourselves, right? Because people will see that you're uh, having conversations on topics that that um, that you're not truly resonating with, maybe, right? That you're not truly connecting with. It's kind of like um, taking in a lesson and passing that lesson on, but that lesson isn't really yours. You're believing in something that's not yours. I refuse to do that. Right. I'm doing. I do believe that's why I'm doing this right now. I'm sitting in this situation that I am right now is because it has to be my way, because there is so much stuff out there that it's easily to be dissuade from the truth. I have to wholly believe in everything that I take on as something for myself, because right there are now other people making their movement on my movement, and I would hate to misrepresent, right, or believe in something that, right, when really I need a course correction. And that's happened. many, many times. You guys, I'm starting to babble away. We're going to end this now. You guys, have a great night, and we'll see each other tomorrow. Bye-bye.